Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shakila, and today I will present my project of classroom management. First, part 1, topic tolerance. What is teaching tolerance? Teaching tolerance refers to the deliberate effort by educators to cultivate in students an attitude of respect, acceptance, and understanding toward individuals who differ from themselves in race, ethnicity, religion, genders, ability, or background. Okay. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shakila, and today I will present my project of classroom management. Teaching tolerance, definition and importance. What is teaching tolerance? Teaching tolerance refers to deliberate effort by educators to cultivate in students an attitude to respect, acceptance, and understanding toward individuals who differ from themselves in race, ethnicity, religion, gender, ability, or background. It goes beyond more consistence. It actively promotes empathy and inclusive values are core additional outcomes. Key concept, tolerance, empathy, inclusion, respect for diversity, anti-bias education, cultural responsiveness, equity. Why it matters? First, reduces bullying and discrimination in school. Second, build a safe and inclusive learning environment. Third, prepares students to function in diverse society. Fourth, enhance social emotional development. Fifth, improve classroom coherence and academic engagement. Six, aligns with 21st century global competency goals. Strategy of teaching tolerance. 1. Create inclusive classroom norms. Establish clear, created classroom agreements that explicitly value respect and inclusion. Display them visually and revisit regularly. When students help create the rules, they are more invested in upholding them. 2. Use diverse literature and materials. Incorporate books, texts, and media featuring characters from varied cultural, racial, and social backgrounds. This validated diverse identities and broaden student perspectives beyond their own experience. 3. Facilitate structured discussion. Use structured seminars or structured dialogues on real-world issues of fairness and identity. Teach students to disagree respectfully and to listen actively. Tolerance scale for life beyond the classroom. 4. Celebrate cultural events and heritage. Acknowledge and celebrate the cultural backgrounds of all students through projects, food, music, and storytelling. This builds cross-cultural appreciation and signal that all identities are valued. Classroom application and conclusion. Real-world application in a diverse English literature classroom. A teacher can implement tolerance by assigning texts written by authors from different cultural backgrounds, inviting classrooms to share their own cultural stories, and explicitly addressing stereotypes encouraged in literature. When a conflict arises between students, The teacher mediates by guiding students to articulate their perspective using I statement and identifying shared value, directly modeling the tolerance skill being taught. Social emotional learning, teaching tolerance integrates ESL princip principles, empathy, self-awareness, and responsible discussion making to academic instruction. Restorative approach. Rather than punishing intolerance behavior, restorative conversation focus on repairing harm and rebuilding relationship within the classroom community. Teacher as a model. The most powerful tolerance lesson is the teacher on daily behavior, how they address our student equitable, handle conflict, and validate diverse perspectives. Topic 2, helping student handle anger, frustration, and aggression. Definition: anger and frustration are natural emotional responses to perceived threats, injustice, and unmet needs. In the classroom context, aggression is the behavior manifestation of this emotion. It may appear as verbal outbursts, physical confrontation, property destruction, or passive-aggressive withdrawal. These are not disciplinary issues alone. They are indicators of unmet social, emotional, or academic needs that require a compassionate and strategic response from educators. Academic frustration. Students who struggle academically may express frustration through anger when tasks feel too hard or meaningless. Unmet emotional needs. Lack of adult attention, validation, or a sense of belonging can trigger aggressive seeking of negative attention. Home and social stress. Family conflict, poverty, trauma, or peer relationship issues overflow into the classroom of behavioral dysregulation. Neurological factor. Conditions such as ADHD, conduct disorder, or sensory processing difficulties can lower frustration tolerance. Strategies for managing anger and aggression. 1. Teach emotional literacy. Help students name and understand their emotion before they escalate. Use feelings charts, mode check-ins, and great reflection. When students can label their anger, they gain agency over it. 2. Provide calm down space. Designate a cool off corner with sensory thoughts, breathing good, or journal. This gives students a non-punitive space to self-regulate before returning to learning. 3. Teach conflict resolution skill. Role-play scenarios, a statement practice, and peer mediation program equip students with constructive way to express grievance and resolve dispute without aggression. 4. Proactive communication and check-ins. Brief daily check-ins. How are you today? Build teacher-student relationship that make students feel safe. Early emotional detection allow intervention before escalation. Teacher role and conclusion. The teacher response to the student anger is the most critical variable in the escalation. Responding with calm authority rather than mirroring the student emotional intensity. Model self-regulation. Pre-reserve the relationship and prevent minor incident from becoming major disruption. Teacher must distinguish between willful defense and emotional dysregulation. Dysregulation. The former require consequence, the latter requires support. The escalation lower the emotional temperature through calm down, reduce demand, and physical space. Never escalate in response to escalation. Consistency, clear, predictable routine and response reduce student anxiety and the likelihood of frustration triggered outbursts. Collaboration, work with school counselors, partners, parents, and special education staff to address root cause beyond the classroom teacher's scope. Trauma awareness. Recognize the aggressive behavior often signal unresolved trauma. Trauma-informed practice shift the question from what is wrong with you to what happened to you. Topic 3, the disruptive behavior. The definition and type. The definition, disruptive behavior in the classroom refers to any student conduct that interrupt the teaching learning process, interferes with the rights of other learners, to create an environment in which effective instruction cannot occur. This ranges from minor infraction, talking out of turn, to serious incident, physical altercations, and required in turn context-sensitive response from the teacher, verbal description, calling out, conversation, back talking, making inappropriate comment, agreeing with the teacher, physical description, out of seat behavior, pushing, throwing objects, invading peers' personal space, passive description, refusing to participate, deliberately ignoring instruction, non-compliant, visible dissent judgment, technology description, unauthorized phone use, gaming on device, distracting peers with screen during instruction. Prevention and management strategies. 1. Proactive classroom rules and routines. Establish and research the clear produce from day one. When students know exactly what is expected, ambiguity, a major trigger for disruption, is eliminated. Rules should be positively framed and co-create with students. 2. Proximity and nonverbal cues. Moves physically close to a descriptive student without interpreting instruction. Use eye contact, hand signal, or a tap on the text to direct behavior quickly and without escalation. 3. Behavior contracts. For persistent description, collaboratively develop a written behavior contract with student. The formalized expectation, track progress, and give the student ownership on their conduct goals. 4. Positive behavior support, or PSB. Shift from punitive to proactive management by acknowledging and rewarding positive conduct. PSB system create a classroom culture where appropriate behavior is recognized and reinforced regarding the need for description and attention seeking. Root cause and concussion. Disruptive behavior are largely random and communicates something, boredom, confusion, unmet needs, and a desire for connection. Effective classroom management does not simply suppress the behavior. It seeks to understand its communicative function and address that underlying message through instruction, relationship, and environment. Academic mistake. Instruction pitched too high or too low leads to frustration, too hard or too bored, too easy, but disrupt. Attention shaking. Disruption may be the only strategy a student has to gain adult notice, build relationship to eliminate this need. Peer dynamics. Showing of for peers, peer pressure, or social conflict can override academic motivation in the classroom setting. Environmental factors. Overcrowded classroom, over uncomfortable setting, poor lighting, or excessive noise increase disruption like livelihood. Part 2, problem solving. Problem 1, Mr. John and Alex. Aggressive behavior. Case summary. Mr. Johnson is a fifth grade teacher whose student Alex frequently display aggressive behavior, interrupting lesson, talking back, and becoming physical aggressive toward classmates. Mr. Johnson has already tried setting class rules, positive reinforcement, and private conversation. Despite this effort, Alex's behavior has not significantly improved. The question is what additional debrief strategy can she implement? Analysis the persistence of Alex ingredients despite role setting and positive reinforcement suggests that surface level behavior intervention as in session. Alex's aggression likely serve a communicative function, signaling unresolved trauma, chronic frustration, or a need for stronger relational support. Effective intervention must move from reactive management to proactive, relationship-centered, and collaborative approach. 3 strategy for Mr. Johnson. Strategy 1, Functional Behavior Assessment, FBA. Mr. Johnson should collaborate with the school counselor to conduct an FBA, a systematic process to identify what triggers Alex aggression, what function is surface. Example, escape from tasks, gaining attention, expressing frustration, and what happened immediately after the behavior. With this data, a targeted behavior intervention plan (BAP) can be developed that addresses Alex's specific needs rather than applying generic consequences. FBI shifts that approach from punitive to prescriptive. Strategy 2, Collaborative Problem Solving, CPS approach. The CPS model roars during threat aggression as a kill deficit, with not willful deficit. Mrs. Johnson should hold structured conversation with Alex to collaboratively identify and solve problems and brainstorm mutually acceptable solution. This approach gives Alex voice and agency in addressing his behavior's challenges, build the executive function skill he lacks, and repair the teacher-student relationship which is critical for behavior change in students with chronic aggression. Strategy 3. Multi-agency collaboration and family partnership. Since in-class strategies alone have been insufficient, Mr. Johnson should escalate support by involving parents, the school psychologists, and special education staff. A team meeting can reveal context, home stories, medical factors, career trauma that explain Alex's behaviors. Family school alignment on consistent behavior expectation, the escalation strategies, and emotional support system significantly improve outcomes from students with persistent aggression. Problem 2. Mr. Smith obstructs behavior in math class. Case summary. Mr. Smith is a 7th grade math teacher whose students frequently daydream, chat, or use phone instead of engaging with lesson. Despite attempts at redirecting attention and providing engaging activities, obstructs behavior persists and is affecting class performance. The challenging is not individual, it is systematic, involving multiple students and suggesting structural issues with engagement and motivation. Analyze with the spirit of tax behavior in math class suggests the engagement strategies currently used are not sufficiently responsive to student motivational needs, learning style, and the perceived relevance of the content. At the 7th grade level, students need autonomy, peer interaction, and meaningful challenge, elements often absent in traditional math instruction. Mr. Smith must redesign the learning environments and instructional approach to make on-text behavior the natural response. 3 strategies for Mr. Smith. Strategy 1. Active learning and cooperative structures. Replace passive interaction with active learning format. Think, pair, share. Group problem solving, math station, or real-world application types. When students are physically and cognitively active, talking, building, calculating for a purpose, the opportunity and motivation to go off tasks are dramatically reduced. Corporative structure are leverage peer accountability. Students are less likely to zone out when their peers depend on their contribution. Strategy 2. Structure technology integration with clear protocol, rather than banning fun, which creates power struggle. Mr. Smith can integrate controls technology used through MathUp, collaborative digital tools, example Desmos or Kahoot, or structured research text, stabilizing clear, take on or take off signal, and enforcing them consistently. Teach self-regulation while channeling student interest in device productively. This reduces an authorized phone use by satisfying an underlying engagement need legally. Strategy 3. Behavior momentum and chunk the text design. Break lesson into short, varied segments. Example, 10 minutes instruction, 5-minute practice, 7-minute application. To maintain attention across a class period, begin each segment with a low stakes, easy win text to build behavior momentum. Students who start engaged are more likely to remain engaged. The design principally addresses to attention span limitation of 7 grades while structurally recording windows for off-type behavior. Problem 2. Problem 3. Miss Brown and Jack disruptive behavior. Case study. Miss Brown is an 8th grade English teacher whose student Jack frequently talk out of turn, make inappropriate comment, and distract classroom. Miss Brown has tried verbal warning and setting change, but Jack's behavior persists and continues to compromise the learning environment. The pattern indicates that surface-level consequences are not producing behavior change. Analyze Jack's continued description despite warning and setting change signals that these reactive strategies address only the surface behavior, not in function. For an 8th graders, description often several social purposes, making peers love, asserting identity, filming boredom, or emotional purpose, avoiding academic tasks, gaining teacher attention. Miss Brown must implement strategies that alter the payoff structure of Jack's behavior while simultaneously building his self-regulation capacity. 3 strategies for Miss Brown. Strategy 1. Plain ignoring plus differential reinforcement. Jack's verbal description may be maintained by the attention they receive. Both from Miss Brown, verbal warning, and peers louder, plain ignoring withdraw teacher attention from the description while simultaneously reinforcing any on-text behavior text display. Differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior, or DRY. This strategy requires consistency. Miss Brown must ignore the description calmly and immediately reinforce the replacement behavior. Over time, the payoff for description behavior disappears. Strategy 2. Private behavior contract with student-led goals. Miss Brown should meet privately with Jack to establish a written behavior contract. Rather than imposing target, she could create the goal with Jack, asking him what he thinks appropriate classroom behavior looks like and what incentive motivate him. This shifts Jack from a passive recipient of consequence to an active agent in his own behavior management. The private nature avoiding public shaming. The student-led design increased Jack's buy-in and reduced resistance. Strategy 3. Structure participant opportunity. Jack's calling out may reflect a strong desire to contribute and engage. A positive impulse channel in appropriately. Miss Brown can redirect this energy by offering the structure, legitimate participant roles, discussion, facilitator, groups, spokespersons, or question portion, providing Jack with sanctioned high-profile opportunities to talk in class, remove the need to talk out of return. This strategy transforms a behavior deficit and into an instructional asset. improving both Dick's conduct and his academic judgment. That's it for me. Thank you.